Hello, welcome. Hi, I'm Chris McCusker. Welcome to the Quarantine Management Institute. The Quarantine Management Institute was born in the height, at the apex of the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. And what I'd like to do in this video is introduce the concept, the idea, the logic of the Quarantine Management Institute. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll leave you with one inspirational quote, which kind of summarizes where I am at the start of this learning process. The idea is that, basically we are in a situation where we have to try to deal with a crisis, a pandemic crisis. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of sadness. Our world was turned upside down 30 days ago, and one of the things I've learned is that in order to be happy and in order to cope and to be resilient and to survive, is that we have to do what we love to do. And I love a learning process. I'm not really somebody who likes to be alone. I like to be with others. And so we're going to sort of explore the frontier of social media. And we're starting off with low-tech graphics and YouTube, primarily because I know YouTube. My own background, I've been a professor at universities since 1993. I've been teaching, starting in graduate school at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I have a PhD, a master's, and a bachelor's degree there in psychology. I taught at Columbia University in New York in the business school there for 1 year, and then moved to Yale and taught there for 10 years, the Yale School of Management in New Haven, Connecticut. And then I moved to Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana, teaching classes on leadership, ethics, negotiation, and cross-cultural management. So I'm interested in exploring with you how those topics might be applied to some of the challenges that we're facing with this quarantine situation and in managing this pandemic. I'd like to start off with a motto. The Quarantine Management Institute, learning in new ways together. Oh no, I didn't even get my motto right. Learning to learn in new ways together. And I think that kind of summarizes my philosophy and approach. I'm initiating a conversation, hoping that you're on board and will make comments and ask questions, and that we could engage each other and exchange ideas. I'm interested in who's watching this, if it's 5 people or 500 or 5,000. Who are you? What are you doing? What concerns do you have? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to learn about? And I will do my best to address those issues that are relevant to what I bring to the table. Here is a quote which I think starts us off with an orientation to this. It's a learning process which is virtual, and I'm not an expert on social media. I've been live and in person at universities for many years. So let's see what happens. So here's a quote. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. It's a quote from Arthur Ashe. First learned of this quote from some colleagues of mine in Atlanta, Bob and Lynn Turknet. They have a beautiful practice of helping leaders and executives become more effective. Their leadership character model, I think, is something we will talk about. And they introduced me to this quote from Arthur Ashe many years ago when we began working together. You can check out their website at www.leadershipcharacter.com if you want to learn more about them. We'll talk more about them later. But Arthur Ashe, 3-time Grand Slam tennis champion, blood transfusion in the early 80s. He ended up getting HIV, and he died in the early 90s, won the Congressional Medal of Freedom. Start where you are. Use what you can. Use what you have. Do what you can. And so we have some low-grade graphics. I got a telephone here, and I got some experiences. Let's go ahead and engage one another, and let's co-create a learning process that is right in tune with this basic idea from Arthur Ashe. I think what inspired me also is something that happened yesterday. I was making Easter eggs with some family members. My name is Christopher, so I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to be talking about religion in this institute, because I'm not an expert on that, and I come to the process as a sinner. We can talk more about that another time. At any rate, look at these beautiful eggs here. You see these beautiful eggs? We made those eggs yesterday without any food coloring. What we ended up doing was using what we have. What we had, let me see if I get these pictures. What we had was, for example, mustard. It turns out that mustard, if you rub it on the egg, makes a yellow egg. We had, let me see what else we had. You might get a kick out of this. Let me see my laptop. We had coffee grounds, which didn't really make the eggs brown, but it was fun trying to rub coffee grounds into an egg to see if it changes the color. It didn't. We had, let's see what else we had here. We tried spinach. It seems spinach would bleed the green into the, it didn't change the color of the egg. Spinach, again, did not work. Let's see what else we had. If I can get this thing to work here. We tried pickle relish, which didn't really work, but it was fun to try. I'm in the Chicago arena, in the Chicago area right now, and Chicago, of course, is famous for hot dogs. The best hot dog probably in the world. We can debate that if you'd like to make a comment. But I also, in my career, have done various jobs outside of the university just to keep some semblance of balance. I feel like for me anyway, when I got caught up in the one situation over and over again, it kind of changes how I see things. So most recently, I was selling hot dogs on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and so I'm a hot dog man. I've done other things like painting, cleaning windows, driving a taxi in New York and Atlanta. Stuff like that will come out in the Institute, my own experiences, but I'm also interested in your experiences. Let me see what else we have here. We tried, what else did we try? Oh, these eggs here actually worked really well. These two eggs were made with juice, not actual orange juice or apple juice, but juice, which is basically sugar and food coloring juice. I won't name a brand here, but look how nice they came out. When we put the egg in the reddish juice and the orange colored juice, it really dyed the eggs very well. It was very exciting. Makes you wonder what's happening in your stomach when you eat those eggs. That's for a different day. So we ended up with these beautiful eggs colored without food coloring and vinegar. And to me, it inspired me to remind us of this quote at the start of the Quarantine Management Institute by Arthur Ashe. So let's get started. Let's learn to learn in new ways together. Let me turn this off right now.